Hi guys, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Today I thought we would make a cute little baby bonnet that I came up with. I will show you how we started it, how we made the middle of it, how I did the edging around, I made the little tassels at the bottom. And it's, they can leave it hanging more of a decoration, or I left it long enough if they want to tie it a little bit around the neck. For this hat here, I used Premier Everyday. This is like their marble colored one, and I used a 5.5mm hook. Now that's a 4-weight yarn. It's a thinner on the thinner side of 4-weight. But it worked up real nice. Now, I have a little bit of the measurements, so I figured I'd measure this part with you guys. But I have the measurements for here. So where we start, because we're just going to do half double crochets to start with. And so that is about across, you want it to be about 2.5 inches around. So like if you look at it this way, it'll be from one side to the other. You want it to be about 2.5, 3 inches wide when you get to, well, it depends on what size you want. Let's put it that way. This one right here is more of a 6 to 9 month. I'm going to actually do a smaller size for this video. And I'm going to try it with this video with you guys. We're going to do a little bit smaller. So the counts are going to be a little bit different. But as we're going, I'll let you know about the increases and stuff on where you might want to be. Now, I would suggest using 4-weight for this one, because I think if you use 5-weight, it's going to make it a little bit too big on the count numbers that I have. You could probably use a 3-weight, like a baby yarn, but you're going to just want to do more increases to make sure it's big enough, or you might, most likely you'd have to do more of an increase, because 3-weight is going to turn out a little smaller than a 4-weight. For this tutorial, and I might not even be able to make the whole hat, I'm thinking I'm just going to show you, tutorial wise, I'll just make a small, like a tiny one to show you how I did it, because I'm using some scrap landscapes that I have in a nice bright color so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm using a 6mm with this one because it's a little bit thicker than the one that I used. So I'm actually going to go pretty small on the increases, but as we're going along, I'll let you know where you might want to go with your yarn, depending on how thick or thin it is. Because I'll let you know what I did with this one, and then I'll let you know what I'm doing with this one. It'll make sense as we're going along. But you're going to want to tape measure so that you can measure the diameter, because all that really matters is the diameter of the beginning round that we're going to do. And as long as you get that the right measurement, this part here, as long as you get that part right, then this is just, the rest of this pattern is just going around that number. And then we leave it turns into a back and forth instead of a round, and you leave a few stitches here and then just turn around and go back and forth. So, and then we add these after. So having all that said, you need scissors and a tapestry needle too, just like every project in crochet. I have misplaced my handy green one with the angled tip. I am very upset about that. But I am going to get situated. I'm going to see if I can find my green tapestry needle, and I'll meet you guys back and we'll get going on this. Okay guys, great news. Green needle, green angled needle has been found. I repeat, it has been found. Crisis averted. But anyways, let's get going on this bonnet so you guys can make it up. And you can make it whatever color you want. And you could actually use more than one color if you want to. It's just that this is a one we're going to make the round, and then it's just a 1 row repeat back and forth, but you could definitely put more than one color in there. It would be very pretty. And even around the front part could be a different color, because that's separate from the rest of it. And I'm thinking I might do that. I might add another color to the front here, just to show you what I mean. Anyways, to get going, we're going to do a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me pull out some of this yarn. Okay. Then we're going to go back to the first chain here, and we're going to slip stitch and make a little ring. Now you want to work in the center of that ring, not in the stitch that you slip stitched in, but in the center of that ring is where we're going to work. To start with, we're going to chain 3. And that is going to count as our first double crochet. So we want a total of 12, including this. So you're going to put 11 more double crochets through this center. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to go right in that hole there. And you're going to do a double crochet. And you're going to do 11 of those. So counting my chain 3, I have 3. And you're going to count to 12 with the chain 3. Okay, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, once you come around and you've got 12, including your chain 3, you're going to pull that tight so that the hole closes up. And if it doesn't close up all the way, don't worry, because you can sew this in opposite and pull it nice and tight. I'll show you that later. But then you want to slip stitch to the top of this chain 3. You want to go right into the top of it, because that's your first stitch. Now we're going to switch to half double crochets, and you're going to chain 2 for now. Okay, you're going to yarn over and you're going to put another one right in the top of that chain 3 that you're in. So that counts as 2. And then you're going to put 2. Ooh, I did double crochets. We're doing half double crochets. Sorry about that. So you're going to go in to where you slip stitched and do a half double. Sorry about that. And I'm getting stuck here. And then don't skip this next stitch, because sometimes it can get lost. You want to get in there in that next stitch and put 2 half doubles in there. And you're, oh my goodness. And you're going to put 2 half doubles in every stitch around. And then you should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. So just 2 half doubles in each stitch all the way around. But don't crochet like me, because I'm getting all stuck, and yeah. Okay, so 2 half doubles in each stitch around, and you should have 24, and I'll meet you when we come around here. Okay, when you're coming around, you're going to put your last 2 in this last stitch. And then you'll notice that it looks like there's one more stitch, but that's where you slip stitch. So always just look for where your last stitch is from the previous row. And then we're going to slip stitch in the top of that chain 2. Now, what we're going to do from here, if you're working with a thicker 4 like I am, we're going to put 4 double crochets in a row, starting where you slip stitch. So you're going to chain 2, and that's going to count as your first, and then you're going to do 2, 3, 4, and an increase. Now, if you're using 3 weight, you're going to want to do 1, you're going to want to chain 2, and that's your first half double. And then you're going to do an increase, and then you'll do 1 and an increase, 1 and an increase. And you'll want to do, you know, as many of those rows. So you go from 1 to 2 to 3, and you want to do as many of those rows until you get to about, for this one, since I'm doing it smaller, I'm just going to bring it, let's see what it's at now. See, across this way, it's 2.5. But if you fold it in half this way, if I can get it in half, it's only 1. So I want when I fold it in half, I want this to be about 1.5, 2 inches, somewhere in between there. And so that's why we're going to do, with this one, we're going to do 4 in a row and then an increase with this thicker yarn, because we're going to make this one pretty small. But you can make it as big or small as you want it. You just want to measure what the diameter of the child's head is going to be. So if you want to make it the 6 to 9 months that I did, you want it to be about 2.5, 3 inches. When you fold it this way, you want this to measure across about 2.5 inches. And then anything bigger than that, it's probably going to be between 3.5 and 4. In between this size and the 6 to 9 months, like a 3 to 6 month would probably be about 2 inches, about 2.5. So it's probably what we're doing now. And newborns probably close to what this is, the 1 inch, the 1 to 1.5. But I'm going to bring it up one more with the 4 half doubles and an increase. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, and that counts as our first. And we're going to go into the next one. So this counts as our first half double. So don't go in where you slip stitched. Go into that next stitch, the one that pulls and hides on us. Put 2 and then 3 and then 4. So you've got 4 in a row. You've got your chain 2 and 3. So that's 4 in a row. And then we're going to put an increase, which is 2 half doubles. And then we're going to do that again. We're going to put 4 in a row. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do an increase. So do that all the way around. Put 4 in a row and then 2. 4 in a row and then 2. So your increase. And then I'll meet you when we come around here. Okay, when you come around, you should end with 30, but if you should end on an increase and have 30 stitches. But if you're doing a different one, then like if you're doing a different increase, you're going to go up by 12 stitches every time. So just count that from the 24. You'll go up 12 stitches every single time. But when I came around on this one, I had to add, I'm going to do 2 increases here to make it 30. So the last 2 stitches have increases in them. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top stitch. Now, I might have lost a stitch somewhere, so yours might turn out perfect where it's 1 and then 1 increase at the end. But for tutorial purposes, I just wanted to come around because I think I might have lost a stitch somewhere between here and there. Because it should have worked out perfect. But, you know, in crochet, sometimes things aren't perfect. And now I've got a happy little mistake in there and no one's going to be the wiser. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. And this is going to count as your half double crochet and a chain 1. And you're going to go right back into where you slip stitched and do another half double crochet. So this is your first little half double crochet V-stitch. Okay? Then we're going to skip the next stitch, which is kind of hidden right here. Because it pulls a lot here. So this one is your next one. Because here's where you came out. Actually, I went into the wrong place. You want to go back in where you're coming out of, not the next stitch. And I accidentally went to the next stitch. But then you're going to skip the next stitch. Why is this looking funky? What did I do? Hold on. I'm not editing either because everybody makes mistakes. We're slip stitched here, so I was in the right stitch. So that's our first half double, okay, V-stitch. And then we're going to skip one, which is this one that's pulling, and we're going to do a V-stitch in the next. So we're going to put a half double, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put another half double, all in that same stitch. We're going to skip 1, and we're going to do the same. So that's the repeat for this, and this is what we're going to repeat, but I'll show you how we're going to repeat it on the next row, because we're starting it here. Skip 1, go into the next, half double, chain 1, half double, skip 1, half double, chain 1, half double. Okay, so repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end over here. Okay, then when you come around, you want to leave these last 3 stitches open, because this is going to create the bottom part of the bonnet. So we're going to leave, we're not going to complete this round. We're going to leave these last 3 stitches open. We're going to chain 3 and turn our work. So now we're working back this way. And you're oh no, you know what we're going to do? I'm so sorry, guys. Don't even chain 1, just turn your work. And we are going to slip stitch into this, in between the V-stitch. So you're coming out of the V-stitch. Then you're going to chain 3. And that's your first half double and chain 1. And then you're going to go right back in there and do your half double for your V-stitch. Now you're going to jump to the next chain 1 space, and you're going to put that V-stitch in there. So half double, chain 1, half double. And then you're going to go to the next chain 1 space. So you're just working into the middle of the previous V-stitch, but these are half double V-stitches. So it just creates a cute little design. And you're going to follow this all the way around. Until you get back over here. Now, I'll meet you back when we get over here so I can show you how to go. We're going to do the same thing as we did here, but I'm just going to show you one more time, and then I'll tell you how far to go. Okay, then when you come around to this side, this is where we had the chain 3 and the half double. So you're just going to work in the middle of that and put your last V-stitch. Oops. And I'm real sorry, guys, about this video. It has been a long few weeks here being stuck in the house, and I'm kind of flustered today, so I'm going way too fast, and my brain isn't catching up. So I really apologize. I hope you guys are still able to follow along, because this is a cute bonnet. But when you come back around, you're just going to do the same thing. You're not yarn over. You're going to turn, and you're going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space. So you're working from there, and you're going to chain your 3, go back in there for that second half double, and that's your first V-stitch. And then you're just going to work in each chain 1 space all the way around, and then you'll turn and do the same thing. Now you're going to want to work back and forth like that until you get this. Now if you want to do it my size, I'm going to bring it out till from the, like, so you want to fold it in half, and I'm bringing mine out to, if it'll let me. I don't think this would let me, the amount of yarn I have, but I want to bring it out to about 4 inches so that it's proportionate basically for what you want it to be. Now this one, if you're making it more this size, I brought this one out to almost 5 inches. And then this part is, we're going to add that on. So you want to bring it out. It just depends on what size you're making it. So you just want it to look proportionate and look like it's going to fit around the baby's head. So this one being 6 to 9 months, like I said, I brought it to about 5 inches. This one, for the smaller size, I would only bring out to about 3.5, 4 inches. And if you're making it bigger, like if you're making for more of a 1-year-old, you might want to bring this out to more of like at the 8-inch mark, so that you might actually be able to get away with about 7, 6, 7, because sometimes the like looking at a baby's head, let's say, it's not going to change too much going this way. So you might be okay doing it between the 5 to 7 inch mark, and it would still be fine. Because their circumference changes, but it's not going to go out this way too much. At least from what I remember. So go ahead and work your rows back and forth until you get it to where it looks, you know, symmetrical and you think it's wide enough for a baby's head for the size you're making it for. And then I'll meet you back and we will do the around part, and then we'll do the border around the front. And I was trying to find a color so I could do like a color change around the front, but all I have is dark colors, and I don't want to do that to you guys. So I will keep it the same color, but feel free to change colors at that point. I'll meet you back. Okay guys, so like I said, you just want to make it look proportionate for the size that you're making it in. So this is like a very newborn, like just born size. And I brought it to 4 inches across this way. So folded in half is 4 inches. So, and I had to make this super small because I only had so much to work with here. But once you get it to however big this way you want it to be, because you want to have that opening at the bottom. That's like the bottom of the hat. Now this is where we're going to go. You're going to chain 1 where you're at. You're going to go right back in there and do a single crochet. And you're going to do 1 single crochet around this whole edge. You're going to go all the way around here, up and back around to where we started. And you just want to evenly space them out. So we did half double crochets, so you can just go in the spaces here and do a single crochet. Now, when you come to the back part here, we're actually going to bring these two together on this corner. And then we're going to do 1 in the middle. And then we're going to bring these two together so that it cleans it up a little bit. And then just come around this side. I'm just going to bring you guys up here. And you don't have to worry about corners or anything on this project because we want it to be a nice soft edge. We don't want like a hard, crisp end. Plus we're putting a border around the front anyways. Now, if you want to put 1 extra one here because it's such a big space, that's fine. And then just bring yourself all the way around. And now here, you're going to go, this is where it gets a little tricky. Because once you get to this part, you've got actual stitches. So I'm going to show you this. So you can go into the stitch and then into the chain 1 space and then into the next stitch. And then skip this spot because that's where, and you just find the top of the stitches. And then go into the chain 1 space. And then just do that all the way around. I'll let you guys do that. Go all the way around this top part. This is the front part of your hat here. So just go all the way around and we'll meet back up where we started. Okay, and then when you come back around to where you started, you're going to go in this last chain 1 space, and then we're just going to slip stitch to this first single crochet. If I could get through it, we would. So remember, this is the bottom part here. So it goes like this. This is the bottom. So this here is our front. Now, if you want to change colors, you totally can, but I'm not, so I'm going to stay attached here. Now, you can detach and bring another color in and do this front part. It's just a little bit of a shell that we're going to do around the front part. You can do that with a different color. That would be really pretty. So I'm actually just going to show you how to do this. I'm not going to actually do it all the way around because I want to have enough of this to show you the tassels. So you're going to start this, you're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to go into the stitch we're coming out of. And we're going to do, well, if I can get in there, because I'm having all kinds of issues today. Why not? But we're going to do 3 half double crochets in that first stitch there to make just a small shell. And now my yarn is starting to fight with me because it is getting really low. So you're going to do 3 half doubles. You're going to skip 1 and you're going to put a single crochet in the next. Then you're going to skip 1 and put the 3 half doubles in the next. So it's just a repeat of 3 half doubles, skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, and then put the 3 half doubles again. And it's just going to create a little bit of a shell on the outside. Now you can also do, if you want it to be more pronounced, I don't know what is in my yarn, but if you want it to be more pronounced than these, you can do double crochets instead of half double crochets. And it'll make them a little bit more pronounced and stick out a little bit more. But I just wanted to add a little something to the outside, and I thought it was pretty like that. So it is totally up to you. I'm actually going to try and get around. I might have enough here. But once you get around and you finish up the last of your shells, now you may end on a single crochet, you may end on a shell. If you end with 1 stitch left or something, just slip stitch your way to the end and then tie off. And we'll meet back and I'll show you how to add the tassels. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. See, I came around and I finished with these 3 here. So I'm going to skip this one and just put my last single crochet down there so that it finishes it off. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the next one so that it kind of rounds out that corner. And don't worry about this over here because I can show you how to fix that real quick, because if yours is sticking out like that. On my other one, I'll show you. Let me tie off and I'm going to show you, because it depends on everyone's projects, how everything turns out, because sometimes things turn out perfect, sometimes they don't, and I don't want people to panic. So what we're going to do to calm this side down is we're going to reattach our yarn. Well, I'm going to try at least. And we're going to go into the side of this where the chain 2 is. And we're going to attach this. And then we're going to take this and we're going to slip stitch down here into the 1 stitch over. And my yarn is going crazy, but you're going to do that and then slip stitch into the next one. And then it brings it down. It calms it down there. And then you can tie off, because that's all you need to do to calm that down. And I'll show you, it lays just fine. And you could even slip stitch further over if you want, and you could go into the top of this right here and pull this over too. It's totally preference at this point. So you can either go into the side of that chain or you can go into the top of that chain and slip stitch it over a couple stitches, and it calms it down like that and rounds the corner off. So then you have 2 rounded corners. This one I'm not doing anything with, so I'm not too worried about it. But once you get all that, I would sew in all your ends. I'm actually just going to cut some of these off and get them out of my way. Since I'm not doing anything with this one, it doesn't really matter. I just want to cut these off and get them out of my way. So then you have your little bonnet. Now you can leave it like this if you want, or you can add the tassels. Now I added the tassels by coming in at the bottom of each side here. I'll show you one side and you can do the other. But you come in at the bottom of whatever side you're doing and just add your yarn back on, and then you're going to chain 20. Okay, once you have your 20 chains, now I'm going to work in, I work in the back loop. So like if you're looking at your chain this way and you turn it over, there's a third loop, and that's what I'm going to work in. So you're going to skip over this first one, and then I'm going to slip stitch all the way down. Well, I'm going to at least try. I'm just going to put one slip stitch in each chain all the way down, just to give it a little bit thicker of a look than just the chains. Because when I made this, I thought about doing just the chains, but I thought they just look so thin and they look like they're just hanging there. Plus I knew I wanted to add the little bit of tassel at the bottom, and the chains wouldn't be enough. It would look weird to just hang it from the bottom of that. So just slip stitch your way all the way down. I'm sorry I'm making you watch me do this, but we're at the end here, and I just want to show you how to finish it up. I have the worst case of dry mouth today too, and the more I talk, the worse it gets. Almost at the bottom here. Don't miss these last couple down here. And this one might be a little loose because it depends on how you add your yarn. I add mine by just pulling it through. So I'm gonna make that nice and tight. And then when you come back down here, you're gonna go right into this next stitch here, and you're gonna slip stitch. And then I'm gonna go one more over just to make it nice and secure. And then I'm going to tie off. And you're going to do that on both sides. You're going to do 20 chains and then slip stitch your way back down, and then slip stitch it closed basically. Now, at the end here, this is all I did. I took my yarn and I cut a long piece. Doesn't matter how long it is because you can trim it. But then I folded it in half. And then I folded it in half again. And then you can even fold it one more time, depending on how big or small you're making yours. And then I came in between all these loops. Well, first of all, you want to pull it through here. So you want to go into the end of your start of your tassel, and you're gonna pull these through here however you can, because it's fighting me. Okay, you're gonna pull that through, and then you want to make sure you have these pulled right, because I don't think mine is, because I dropped it. But then you want to get in the middle and pull this other side through there and pull that tight. Now, you don't want to play with it too much because then it'll come undone, but your end will be there too. And then you just want to, and mine got looser than I wanted it to, but you basically, you just want to pull those through and then pull it through the middle to make a knot, and then you cut these short and just have a little bit of a tassel. But part of mine came out, so it didn't do right. But that's the basic gist of it. This yarn's a little hard to do it with. But you just make loops, pull the loops through the end, make a knot with it, and then trim it off and make a little tassel. It really isn't any harder than that. But then you have your little bonnet, and I hope you guys were able to follow along. Like I said, I'm really sorry I'm off a little bit today, but I hope you guys were able to make this with me, because I tried to make a simple little one. I've got another baby bonnet coming that is going to be made with the star stitch, but it's pretty easy, and I'll walk you through it, hopefully better than I did this time. Anything else? Oh, I also have another adult hat coming, so be on the lookout for that. I'm still working it up, but that one's going to be fun too. And I have a shawl in the works that will be coming soon. That one I'm making out of cotton yarn, and it's a lightweight cotton, so it's going to be a nice spring summer kind of shawl that, you know, for cold evenings or whatnot. But other than that, I hope you guys were able to follow along. I really am hopeful for that, and I hope you're staying safe and healthy. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, I would really appreciate you subscribing. That would be great. If you liked this video and my craziness talking to myself, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave me a comment. I will get back to you, especially if I confused you during this at all. I will definitely explain it to you. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.